Welcome to Lessons with My Lawyer. I'm Carcass John Fossum, and to one side of me here is my friend and great lawyer, Brett Stalcup from Stalcup Law.
How
How are you
come you
doing today,
never?
Brett?
I'm doing good. How come you never call me by my middle name?
Your middle name? Oh, you're
Metal,
Brutal
metal.
Brett?
Yeah, brutal,
Well, all they need to do is hire you, and they'll see that you're brutal.
brutal.
Yeah. Brett Stalcup is one of the few people I know that's in the law business or in a quote unquote white collar, respectable, whatever, that wanted his own tour shirt.
Yeah,
So I drew him up his own tour shirt, and by golly, he sold those things like hotcakes. So
that's it.
anyway,
Brutal Brett.
Brutal Brett, yeah, it was the law domination tour, I think, as I remember, and I just listed cities on the back that
Yeah,
that you did
that's
cases
right.
in. So
That's
that was
right.
awesome. Maybe
Nobody
we
ever
need to do a
asked.
second run of those.
Mhm.
Give our listeners something to pick up online. But anyway, as always, we encourage you to like and subscribe. And if you have a question or a short video you want to send us, send that to lessonswithmylawyer@gmail.com. And check out the YouTube channel, as always, Lessons with My Lawyer. And so I'm going to start off with a something that it's like a burr under my saddle. That's what my grandpa used to say when the horse isn't quite right. It's probably because he's got a burr under his saddle. Well, I had a burr under my saddle since Monday. So this is what's on my mind, and then we'll ask you some questions. How about that?
All right.
So my wife takes one of the kids to the DPS to get a license. And beforehand, they got online. They got all the documents that were listed and the requirements that were listed online. Check, check,
Sure.
check. They checked the boxes. When they got up to the window, and they set a date 3 months ago
Yeah,
because that's the way they
I
roll
just
now.
did this, Carcass. I just did
Yeah.
this myself.
Well,
It's very humiliating.
it is humiliating because when they got to the window, the person behind the glass said, "Oh, by the way, you don't have all the documents we require for a driver's license." So Steph pulls up the requirements on her phone and she said, "This is what you've asked for, check. This is what you've asked for, check. This is what you asked for, check." Everything that's listed on the website, she had in her hand in a file folder, neatly packaged for them. And you know what the lady said behind the window? "Sorry, the website's not correct." So my question is, because you're right, that's humiliating, but is there anything that being done about this legally? I mean, is there any type
Oh,
of
yeah, but
formal
those people
complaint
aren't
or
helpful. Those people aren't helpful at all. They're on a power trip, dude. They are on a power trip, being able to tell you what to do, where to go, where to sit, and don't say anything. Don't.
okay?
Dude, you know when I went, my friend who just died, I had to go to Medicare for him. You know, when I went there, the guy had a megaphone and he was yelling, saying, "We don't have to be here. We're on shutdown. So don't be mean to us." I mean, he was rude, dude. I'm like, you know what? Thank God I don't have to come over here every day because I would like sock him in the nose. It doesn't take much to be friendly to people. It doesn't.
No, it surely doesn't. And Brandon and I were talking about something about that prior to the episode starting, and it really doesn't. And I'm always looking for ways to kind of improve. I think I'm in a good place, but I always think that you can do something just a little bit better, even if it's small refinements. Pennies make dollars. And if you make an extra penny a day, then by the end of the year, you've got lots of pennies. But anyway, so your legal advice would be just don't say anything, just deal with it, and come back 6 weeks later because they
You
had to
have,
re.
you have to be so nice to them. Yeah. You know what that gig's about, don't you?
What?
Make sure that everyone is legal driving.
Well, don't you think that's a good idea though? That everyone's
You know
legal?
what? It's a great idea. You know why? Because most of the people who are illegal that are driving don't have insurance.
Yeah.
And I call that uninsured territory. I don't go there. Uh, but yeah, that's what's going on.
Okay.
I think it's a good thing.
Well, fair
You
enough. And
know, do you know how many people driving have never been to driving school?
I'm going to say more than half.
I agree with you. I think that's a fair number.
In fact, I would say
Yeah,
closer to 60 or 70%.
Steph going down to that office looking around, I guarantee you she'll agree with you, going, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Well, and she gets to go back in 6 more weeks because that's then you have to reset the appointment
Yeah.
to go back again.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh,
all right.
and I didn't know when I went to that appointment thing. Paula said it for me in my office. How you got to be 30 minutes early.
Right.
Sit over there and fill this out. Then come see me so I can make sure that you filled it out right. And then I might let you go to this line over here. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I will tell you at the passport place, they were much, much nicer
Mm.
and very friendly. I don't know
Whole
why. I
different
don't know what
gig,
the
dude.
difference is.
There's a lot of difference. They
So I
follow
guess
the rules. You're getting a passport to travel, not a driver's license to drive.
well, and I know one's a state sanctioned thing and one is a federal sanctioned thing, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let me hit you with some questions. So I'm not going to litigate against the DPS in my Fairburg here. I'll just let it ride. So um, I've seen some of these. We kind of watch these crime dramas, and I think they're very intriguing because I'm always thinking about the advice that you give, and 99 times out of 100, if they'd have just shut their mouths, then the case would have taken a different course. But how often? I just watched one where a confession was sort of coerced. They had this poor kid in there for 12 hours. Finally, he just said, "Look, whatever. I just want to go home. Whatever you said I did, I did." So, how many confessions are false?
That's a big statement, what you just said. A, a confession in Dallas, in Texas, we have voluntary statement. So they keep you in there and they beat you to death. And then when they get the answer they want, they tell you to write it here on a voluntary statement. Not necessarily called a confession.
Hmm.
If you handwrite that without your lawyer being there, you are a fool.
And it's a problem then. It's a huge it's if you write it out, it's more of an issue than if you just speak it out.
Yeah. You know, always
Okay.
change if they're not recording it. You know, always change your answer orally.
Yeah.
Once you once you write it and it's in your handwriting, and then they make you initial every change, initial every page. Dude, it's hard to get out of that.
It's hard to back out of that one, huh?
I stabbed him 32 times. Well, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Be a short trial on that one.
Yep. If you wrote it out, yep. How much does someone's appearance in court affect the sentencing aspect?
What are you talking about? The way they dress?
Yeah.
Uh, huge. Dude, I'm known in the courthouse. My people wear a suit. When we go to court on sentencing, on a plea, we wear suits. We look nice. We respect the court.
Okay. So showing up in a Black Sabbath t-shirt and a pair of board shorts probably isn't gonna look too good. No.
No, you're getting Carcass. Just saying that makes my blood boil. You know what I mean?
Well,
You got
I,
somebody that's fixing to judge your life in a matter of 10 minutes, and the only impression you're giving him is board shorts and a metal shirt and hair all whacked out. What's he going to say?
he doesn't care enough to, you know.
Respect me,
Yeah.
respect the court on the way he shows up. I'm fixing to hammer this kid.
Okay. Fair enough. So for all our listeners, if you have to go to court, please learn to tie a tie.
Tie, dude. Well, you
Yeah.
can get those. I'm going to make you laugh. So I ended up in court 2 weeks ago in federal court in Sherman. Whole different gig.
Yeah.
Big case too. My guy's truly in trouble. So I was going to we're working out a co-op deal, and they said, well, we're going in front of the judge at 9:30. This was 8:30. I was there early, right? I didn't have a suit on. I'm like, you didn't tell me we're going to do uh, an arraignment. He goes, well, we are 9:30. I said, I'll be back. I went to Target, Walmart. I got a coat, a shirt, a tie. Dude, it was not it's not one of my canales, but I dressed appropriately, you know,
Yep.
for $65. You know,
So yeah, you want to look like $1 million, even if it does cost you 65,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Are prosecutors allowed to hide evidence? How often does that happen? They
Doesn't
just can't.
doesn't
So if
have
they've got something against your client, they have to divulge it. Like if they found out,
favorable and unfavorable. And we have the Michael Morton Act, which requires them to provide us all discovery. And if they don't provide us this discovery and we request it, they don't get to use it in trial. And
okay, so
we have Brady versus Maryland. Brady is that if there's anything that they have in their possession that's favorable to my client, they have to provide it to me when I file a pretrial motion.
they have to present that prior to the actual court date.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What if they discover something
That's
like in
how
the
we win. That's how my law firm wins.
yeah.
We take that drill, that battery powered drill, and that big old drill bit, and drill right through their discovery
I'm
until
telling
we
you,
find something that helps us.
I'm telling you, folks, I've never seen a room go slump shouldered if you're on the wrong side of Brett Stalcup. So just keep that in mind if you ever need legal help.
That's how you win, though. You got to get in all that discovery and show them where they're wrong.
So what if they just like this is a big long trial, you say right in the middle of it of several weeks or whatever, and someone discovers something new, can they present that in court and say, "Oh, we've discovered something new. I'd like to present this," or do
No,
they
not a
have to
big
do?
fight with me.
Okay,
We asked them for it, Your Honor. They didn't provide it. We're going to object to any attempt to admit it at this time under the Michael Morton Act.
okay. So what kind of client is the hardest to represent?
That's easy.
I know one that doesn't shut his mouth or know when to shut his mouth, but
Add AI on top of that. Oh my God.
what do you mean AI?
Somebody that home brews an AI. Well, what about this? I did Chat GPT, and Chat GPT told me that here's what I need to do in this case. You need to file a motion.
Oh,
Dude,
so they're
dude.
telling you what to do.
Oh yeah. Courts, judges hate AI. Local rules and standing orders in Collin County require a lawyer to make the court aware when they've used AI in any of their pleadings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So AI
AI,
is
no
even
one
worse than so AI is even worse than a guy showing up in board shorts and a Black Sabbath t-shirt, huh?
for a client. I mean, come on, dude. I've been
Yeah.
doing 42 years. Let me take that AI script and just burn it right in front. The other, the ones that think they know it all and don't know how to keep their mouth shut are the ones that really get themselves in trouble.
Yeah. Those are the tough ones, huh? So what's the most common mistake that you've seen from a lawyer's point of view that clients make? What's the biggest mistake besides
Oh, it's
keeping
like
their mouth open
they don't
in front of
shut
everybody?
up. They don't
Yeah.
shut up. It's like in a deposition. I told you, dude, answer the question and shut up. Don't tell me how to make the clock. Tell me what time it is. Do you
Yeah.
understand that? Do you understand that? Yes. Tell me your name. Joe Smith. Good. Where do you live? Dallas, Texas. Good. What is your address? 1242 Sane Road. Good. Don't be going on a narrative. Oh, I know what you want from me. I know where you're going on this. No, what's happening is this. Oh, I'll come across the table and tackle somebody if they do that.
So that old adage of just keep your mouth shut until your lawyer tells you to say something,
That goes a
and then
long
say
way.
exactly what he says to tells you to say.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I literally tell my client, it's okay if you answer that now. Hey,
Yeah,
is Trace Hombres in the background?
that is Tres Hombres, sir.
That's a
In
good.
fact, that's an audio file copy, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's great, and it's on jalapeno green, 200-gram vinyl. But so so speaking of a hot sports opinion, is there something in law school that they didn't teach you when you were a student?
How to make a living.
Really? Can
Yeah,
you
they don't.
expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, they don't teach you how to run a business. They don't teach you about payroll tax. They don't teach you about marketing. They don't teach you about payroll. They don't teach you about budgeting. They don't teach you about managing people, creating a culture of intelligence and kind, loving culture. They don't teach you any of that.
So how did you learn to be that way? Because I mean, you look like you're pretty well put together where you're at least at
Uh,
this point,
I've taught myself, you know, and I hire women. Women,
because
they're smarter, they're stronger, they're more loyal, and they don't steal from you.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's a hot sports take right there. Um, well, is there a right or a law that everyone should have burned into their brains, ingrained? Like this is one right that everyone should memorize.
Yeah. You have a right to an attorney. Always.
Bingo, done.
Don't talk without having your attorney there.
So I think you sort of answered this one already, but what's the most difficult part of being a lawyer?
Because you're always helping people get out of a jam, whether it's civil or criminal. You're always helping them. It's hard. It's a hard. I would tell you, look, if you came to me and said, "Hey, Brett, I'm thinking about going to law school, and I'm going to ask you something right off. Why? Why do you want to go to law school? Because it's hard. That's the three worst years of your life, going to law school and taking the bar. It is. It's
So do you think it's being a lawyer is akin to being a doctor?
yes, it's very akin to being a doctor, and it's hard. It's hard being a doctor nowadays, because it's corporate run, it's not doctor run. Insurance companies run those hospitals.
Yeah.
Anyways, to get back to it, law school's hard, man. It's doing what I do, doing what most lawyers out here do is hard. It ain't for the lighthearted. Oh, I can't. Oh, I feel sorry for myself. I can't believe I'm in. It ain't.
Well, they have one of the highest incidents of addiction too, and
Yeah,
alcoholism, and
absolutely.
because they're trying to cope, or they're just
Listen, if you drink and you're a lawyer, you'll drink more. If you do drugs and you're a lawyer, you'll use more drugs. It is, I have to really take care of myself. I'm fixing to go for a 5 mile walk with my wife. I take care of myself. I eat good. I don't drink. I don't drug. I cuss. I need to stop it. I have my faith and I help people. I help people. This lady I helped this morning. Once I start putting a case on, the courtroom will start filling up with young lawyers taking notes. And that's hard, dude. She was in the ditch. and and I had to just chip. chip, chip, chip until we had enough steps to get out of the ditch. That's hard work.
Well, that sort of segues into the next and final question. Are there any myths or any misunderstandings about criminal defense lawyers?
No,
Because I think the whole premise of our friendship was the fact that I actually like my lawyer.
yeah.
I mean, we're friends first, but you're my lawyer, and I actually like the fact that you're my lawyer, which is
Fighting
weird
for
because
someone's freedom is a lot harder than fighting over somebody's money.
that's thick, man.
It is.
That ain't just spread that jelly's not just spread thin on the bread. That's thick. That's a thick
Yeah.
dose right there.
Yeah. That's reality.
Okay, I'm gonna
You
ask you
got
some.
somebody right beside you and you're fighting for them and everybody else is against you. You got to be able to take that.
Yeah,
I was last man standing this morning. Last man standing.
but that's got to be a good feeling when you
Yeah.
can pop out of the foxhole and wave the flag of victory.
Yeah. It was. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a. This is sort of a two-part story time.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's the strangest legal loophole you've ever seen used in court, and have you ever been threatened because of a case?
Oh yeah, I know. No. I got the famous loophole. This is a good one. Tiger Leach is the one that used it on me when I was a prosecutor. Oh, this was great. So if you are arrested like for marijuana or cocaine, and they just get a little bit of it, they have to test it. And by the time they test it, there's no more, there's not a use, the statute and the information requires a usable quantity. But by the time they test it, there's not a usable quantity there. So you just got to hold and let the prosecutor put this big fat case on saying, he's a drug addict and he's this and he had this cocaine on him and he's this. And your client's going to tell you it's just a little bit. I mean, just, and then with the, when the lab comes and they have the state's exhibit number one, and you start looking over there at the prosecutor going, where is it? He's gone.
Mhm.
Hey,
Wow,
those magic words come out, not guilty. And you really didn't have to do a thing because there wasn't a usable quantity.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So have you ever been threatened because of a case?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you're a
When I
I know you
prosecuted,
what's
when I
it,
prosecuted, oh, yeah, dude, there was a guy, I can't say his name. I saved the judges. I saved the judge from himself. I'm South Urban boy. And all of a sudden I'm prosecuted and the jail chain's in the jury room and I hear the beta said, Mr. Stalcup, uh, Joe Blow's in the jury room and he wants to see you. I go, what's he doing back there? Well, he said that if he comes out here, he gonna whoop the judge. And I said, let me go back there and talk to him. It was Donnie. His name was Donnie, South Urban boy. Donnie, what are you doing back here? Look, just go up in front of this judge and say, yes, sir. He loves that. And don't be threatening to kill him because he could have killed him. Donnie was mean enough to kill him. And the judge probably deserved half of it. The judge is dead now. God bless him. So Donnie comes out there in the courtroom, does exactly what I told him to do. The judge gave him deferred probation. And he was back in 2 weeks, but he gave him probation. He did what I told him to. Say, yes, sir. No, sir. I'm sorry for being here, sir. Don't say I'm going to come over the bench and I'm going to kill you. You know?
yeah, that's a really bad idea. Even to say it.
Yeah, but
It's worse to do it, but it's really bad to say it, even that. So
Oh my God. Back then, we used to really, really have fun. It was trying a case was an art. It's not that way anymore. You can't, you can't try that many cases.
Well, I've been in Texas long enough since the mid 80s to know that it really truly was still the wild, wild west back then.
Oh
So
yeah.
I can only imagine between the lifestyle here and the money that was made and lost, and then all the trouble that people got in as a result, had to be pretty
Oh, I tried a
exciting.
capital murder. I tried a capital murder case. I was 25 years old, way too young to be trying a capital murder. David Martin Long, he's dead. Anyways, me and Julius were trying a case. It was an axe murder. He killed two ladies, two old women with an axe. He was mean. Oh my God, he was mean. But John Reed representing him. John was a second degree black belt. John kept telling him, shut up, or he was going to take him in the jury room and whip him. Anyways, I was my first death penalty case, and I'm fixing to do my final argument. I stayed up all night wondering what I was going to argue. And right before I argued, David Martin Long says, Judge, I'd like to say something to the jury. He goes, yeah, go ahead. Say whatever you want to say to him. He looked at him and said, if y'all don't kill me, I'll kill again.
Wow.
I said, you took the words right out of my mouth. Oh my God. He was so mean. He was
Yeah.
mean.
Some
Yeah,
people,
I've seen some mean dudes. Yeah, yeah.
well,
I've had them come in my office too, and I was like, "You better get out of my office before I come across this desk and just whip you." You know, it's crazy. I've been having sex with my daughter for 5 years. Do do what? I'm like, you don't need to be in here. You don't need me. One, you can't afford me. Two, I'm fixing to come across this desk. You say one more word, and I'm going to whip you. I mean, I've seen some mean dudes in my life. So someone tells me, "Oh, I'll do this," I do. It's like back in the day when we grew up being lawyers, we did court appointments to build our practice. Well, I spent all my time, all nights in jail, getting people out of jail and interviewing. And the bailiffs, sheriffs get mad at you. They'll forget about you and leave you there for 4 hours. That's the way it was. So I've done about a 3 year stint myself building my practice. So don't tell me you can't do the time or I'm not doing any time. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Hell yeah, I do. I still get jammed up going in there. In Plano, Collin County, before you visit your client, it's about a 50-yard walk in the coldest, sterile hallway known to mankind before you get to the jail. And it still gives me a panic attack. I just got to know that I can get out. You know,
crazy.
don't tell me I don't know about doing time, you little punkhead.
Some people are just their own worst enemy, I guess. But anyway, well, appreciate your time, Brett. I know you've been busy today and you just drove in from a distant land. And but as always, we appreciate the support from our listeners. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Send us your suggestions for topics, or if you just have a question for Brett at lessonswithmylawyer@gmail.com. And until next week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Brett.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, man.
So, nada.